Hey guys, John Murray here. Welcome back to the channel. I wanted to get a quick update on the last tournament, Stage 3, Lewis Smith Lake in Alabama. Had a rough first day. Literally got sick, literally hit the floor, literally didn't fish for 2 hours. Caught one scoreable bass that period, that whole day, and I was sitting in 37th going into the second day. The second day is when the magic happened. When we fish this Bass Pro Tour, you fish all day to find that group of fish that you can score. Sometimes you bypass places, you might catch one or two just so that you can find the glory spot where you can actually make a move, maybe even win the group, get to the final day. It's not like a 5-fish limit where you're looking for one big fish here and one big fish there. When you're fishing the Bass Pro Tour, you're looking for groups. And I kept looking for groups. I was looking for groups of spots. I ended up finding a group of largemouths, and we're going to get into that right now. So the second day, I was, like I said, 37th place. I started real close to the ramp second day where the largemouths lived. And after running over an hour the first day, I just knew I couldn't catch them that way. So I stayed close. I fished basically small spotted bass all morning. Couldn't catch them. Randy Howell was in the area catching the heck out of fish. He was catching them and catching them and catching them. I could watch him, but I didn't know what he was doing. And he was just kept catching them. So I knew there was fish in the area. I had to keep at it and keep figuring it out. Finally, about the second period, I tied on a little square bill, this little river to sea, Biggie Smalls, the silent one. And I sewn it on this Sixgill Kratos rod with a Sixgill reel, 14-pound gamma line. And I just started burning banks. I got to find where these fish were. The water had started falling, so I knew they should start fishing out on the points. And the first point I pulled up on, I caught a 2.5-pound largemouth, and that was the clue I needed. So that clue led me to find out those fish were not around the brush, not around the heavy cover. They were on the open spaces. And so I caught a couple fish the rest of that second period. The start of the third period, I think I was in 34th, and I ran to another creek, and there was one opening in the back of the creek, like an old road bed, and there was no brush there. Made one cast across it with this bait, and I caught a non-scoreable bass. I won 3, but I hit spot lock. I hit anchor lock on my trolling motor to stay there. And luckily I did. Picked back up the rod, threw out, next cast caught a 312. And that preceded the next 40 minutes of catching one or losing one or missing one every cast for the next 30 minutes till I got all the way to 10th place. It simply was one of the best days I've ever had on the water. And it was just because I kept paying attention, kept covering water, trying different lures, and looking for that edge there. I might find that big group of fish to make that big run. The key, like I said, was an opening. There was an opening in back, like an old roadbed coming in. No brush everywhere, an opening. Those fish were on that bare bank, and I think they could pin those shad against that bare bank better than getting in the brush or getting in the weeds and trying to get them. And I literally caught fish every cast for like 35 minutes and stopped casting in that spot. I could have caught more, but I had to save it for the last day. A lot of guys have asked, hey, why didn't you fish that last hour? Well, I had to block it. There was 2 locals and Brent Chapman, another competitor that wanted in that pocket. And I really, if I was not gonna catch them, I didn't want them to catch them. So I sat there and blocked it. And it sort of helped. I had enough fish the final day to actually move up to 18th place in that same spot, but we didn't have the sunshine the last day. And those fish never really got feeding like they did that first day. They were still in the same area, still hitting the same lure, but without the sun, they just weren't as aggressive. But overall, it was a great tournament, a lot of fun, and getting 18th in a Bass Pro Tour event is a highlight for me, and a day, really a 30 minutes that I'll never forget. So now we're actually off for almost 2 months. The next one is not till the beginning of May at Lake of the Ozarks in Missouri. So I have some local tournaments around here. We have a trip to Phoenix planned. My son has some tournaments that we'll be fishing. So I'm gonna stay busy guiding and fishing, but I don't have a Bass Pro Tour event for a couple weeks or a couple months. So that's a nice little break in the middle of the season. And what it does is gives me time to sort of get recalculated and get back in it and make sure that when I get back on, the next couple are going to be very important to do well this year. Obviously, Lake of the Ozarks, I don't have a lot of experience here, but the next one is Watts Bar, right here where we're sitting, right behind my house here. So Watts Bar is a very important one for me. I'm going to spend a lot of time out there. I've just finding stuff where I think they might be in June. It'll be tremendous fishing, a lot of fish caught, and I'm really looking forward to sleeping in my own bed, basically I could walk to the ramp when I wanted to start. So it's going to be a fun trip, and I'm looking forward to that, and I'll catch you next time.